your boy HD. Everybody get up on the dance floor and go, and go, and go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 crazy. All the way from the go crazy like a dum-dum. East side homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red wrong. This is O City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel it. Catch your case, cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get your moving side to side, get it now sweaty. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. This a dry crowd. Make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and now I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Get you all in the crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. They tear the rugs and soon as we turn the subs up. Everybody's hands high like a drug bust. Yeah, I'm from the west, homie, don't you see the dubs up? Baptize him on the spot, fill the tubs up. I fraternize with the flock, tell him fill the cuts up. The show though, original, the type is proto. I go, crazy, crazy, yeah, loco. It's solo, coaching loco, I represent the Ocho. Immersing the devil, put the devil in the choke on. Either I leave him on the Mac flat out, I sleep until he black out, or with his out, they go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 crazy. All the way from the
I forgot where I was right there. This chair is getting the business in here.
All right. Had a little shimmy, cocoa pie. See, we need that intro music. We need that good intro music. I don't care what we switch up, change up for the new year. We got to keep that intro music. Yes. All right. So what's up, Scoop Radio fam? It is time to get into this show. We have been chit-chatting for the last week here and there. I know all three of us have been hitting y'all, and we have had some really good conversations. So I am so excited for tonight's show. But before we do that, I want to tell y'all how we do things around here on the Scoop Radio Show. So we are interactive. We want to chat with you. We want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling about what we're talking about what we feeling. And to do that, we encourage you to follow, share, and comment on the Scoop Radio Show live stream. This is the live stream that is titled The Scoop Radio Show. Not Winfred Burns, not Kellz Johnson, not Keela Willis, the Scoop Radio Show. That is the one you need to be following and commenting on. And because that feed allows you to comment live on air with us, which means when you post a comment, we can share it on the live screen, and then everyone gets to see how dope your thought is, like in real time. It's really, really cool. Just hang with us, you'll see. The other reason why it's cool to follow that particular feed is because when we post a poll, because we're going to post a poll, we're absolutely posting a poll on tonight's show. When that happens, your button, that is your little emoji button or whatever, is going to change to what looks like a little bar chart or a column graph. There, you're going to press that button. Your question is going to pop up along with your multiple choice answers. Once you click that button, it's going to then cast your vote and you're done. Easy peasy. You are part of the fam. So, but you also have to be following the Scoop Radio Show live feed for that to happen. You see how this works? Method to the madness. Okay. Aside from that, we just ask that you enjoy. Okay. Tell us what you think and tell us how you feeling. And if you want to hear more, also react, hearts, angry faces, thumbs up, all that good stuff. We want to know how you feeling. Okay. All right. But I think that is it. So it's now time to say what's up. Kellz, how you doing, sis?
Hey, I'm doing okay on this fine Tuesday. My favorite day of the week. It was a long one today, though.
Ooh, child.
It was long at work. It took all day to get here.
But we here. We in this thing.
We made it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, how you doing, bro?
I am good. So, I'm gonna say it's been a long day, but it's been a mentally taxing day. So today we had a long discussion about sex trafficking, and the numbers were absolutely astonishing. So yeah.
Real out here.
Yeah.
Real dangerous.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. So yeah, other than that, it's been good. I mean, yeah. I'm excited for the show. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm pressing through, got my tea on deck, ready to go so that we can y'all don't lose me halfway through because I've already done enough talking for the day. So we're gonna make it happen. But we in this thing. Y'all gonna hear me if I got to type out. If y'all have to post my comments on the live, y'all gonna see me going hard, feverishly typing over here. Yeah, you're right. Y'all gonna get these thoughts on this Tuesday. We are good. We're real good.
So yeah, I'm excited. We've had a lot of good conversation around this, as you said earlier. So I am definitely excited about that. So before we get into news real quick, also let me remind you guys, if you have not shared, go ahead and hit that share button and use the hashtag Scoop Radio, and that automatically puts you into the drawing to possibly win free money mentor classes. So new year, it's time to get your money right. So you definitely want to get your money mentor classes. So just hit the share button, use the hashtag Scoop Radio, and I will pick a winner in the morning. So, all right, let's jump into news. So today's news is brought to you by the Thanksgiving Feed program that we are doing here on the Scoop Radio Show. This is the last week to donate. So we've got a family in Chicago and a family in Oklahoma City, at least that one in each of those cities that we want to feed. And so I'm asking that if you can donate, please do. The Global Drive Radio at gmail.com is our PayPal. 100% of your donation goes to the family. And again, just like on the pictures that we have that we post, you see that we buy food. We buy turkey and all that good stuff. So we buy food. The same food that you and I eat is the same food that we give to our family. So we want to make sure if you can donate, please do. Again, no donation amount is too small. So please, again, just globaldriveradio at gmail.com. Send that to us on PayPal and put the city that you would like to donate to. So special thank you to all of the people who have already donated. We really, really appreciate you and for continuing to support and continue to help us feed families. So, all right, let's get into the news. So first up, we're going to start with probably the most juiciest this week. And then we'll move to probably the least, even though all these are pretty juicy, but we'll start with the one that might take us a little longer. So Colin Kaepernick had his NFL workout on Saturday. For those who don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't, but let me just catch you up. Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers who decided that he wanted to protest racial injustice police brutality against people of color, against black people, and so he took a knee during that season. I believe it was 2016 season. At the end of that season, Colin decided to opt out of his contract to be a free agent, and no team in the NFL has since signed him. And we have gone through ideas and thoughts that he has been blackballed. So finally, he got a workout. No NFL. We later find out that no NFL team even called or tried, and so he sued the NFL, won his lawsuit for an undisclosed amount, and the rumor is that once Jay-Z joined the NFL's whatever program, he helped him and Roger Goodell were in talks to give Colin Kaepernick another shot. So insert Kaepernick getting a workout where all the teams were invited. 25 teams said that they were going to show up. And then we find out towards the end of last week that there were issues with the with a few things. Notably, the issues were first a waiver. So there was a liability waiver that that players who go to the combine sign. The NFL says that they gave him the same waiver that those players gave. His representatives say it was not the same, and that this waiver was not good because it prevented him from having any legal recourse in the case of something happening. There was an issue with media coverage. They wanted the league, the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons video people to do the video. Colin Kaepernick did not want that. He wanted to be in control of the video, so he wanted his own. Then there was an issue with receivers. They never told him who the receivers were, so he got his own receivers. And so, in the instance of all of this, Kaepernick decided he was not, and his team decided they were not going to do the NFL workout, but they would move it to a location which was an hour away at a high school. And instead of 25 teams showing up, only 7 teams showed up. Kaepernick had his own media people there, and he had on another point of contention was he didn't do the workout that they wanted, and he had on a Nike, or I don't know if it's Nike, but a T-shirt that said Kunta Kinte on the front. And so these were all the contentions. They said that the workout went well. They said that his arm is great. He's in great shape. As always, after with the workout, Kaepernick goes to the media and says, tell your team, go back and tell your teams, don't run from me, don't be scared of me. I'm ready to work. Okay. So, Kellz Q, let's start with Kellz. What are your thoughts on this? First of all, what are your thoughts of the story? A, and B, was Kaepernick wrong? Was he right? Because now the story has moved from this to Stephen A. Smith and his comments about all of this. So tell me, Kellz, what are your thoughts? Like some people are saying he really did.
That was the guy that was yelling on the newscaster, right? That's the news.
Yes.
Guy. Okay. I didn't realize that it was Kaepernick that had made all those changes. I thought it was just information they were withholding, and then that had it changed. So I didn't realize that he made all those changes, but they said that it felt kind of fishy. So I think Kaepernick's his spider senses might have been tingling. So hey, I mean, I feel him. I hope he gets picked up. But his manager also said that he talked to all 32 teams and never got a bite before. So I mean, were they trying to set him up? Were they trying to make him look bad?
So okay, and that's we don't know. That's a good question. Okay, I'll come back to that. Q, what are your thoughts?
I would like to know what a normal workout circumstance looks like, and compare it to what they're saying they wanted to happen for this. That to me, without that, it's hard to determine if this seems fishy or not. We're only going off of what the NFL says and what Colin is saying. Without knowing what the baseline is, reading through it, it seemed like this was a lot. It seemed like the changes that he was requesting should have been something that he and his team set up privately. And then if he was offered the opportunity to do the workout set up by the NFL, then do it that way for the NFL. And then if because people would come if he set up a workout with the media and at the high school and with all the stuff and where people wanted to come, they're gonna come. They're gonna show up. So I don't know what the rules are as far as the NFL, if you could do something like that and then still be signed and play in the NFL or whatever the case may be. But that would have been the route that I would have taken, because aside from the politics, when it comes to the business, this is starting to feel like how I would think some people in Hollywood feel about Monique. You have to at some point separate the politics and all that and get down to business. And at this point, regardless of how you feel about his politics, this follows him. This is attached to him. And he's not running from it, and nor do I think he necessarily should. But I don't know. I can't necessarily see it so black and white as some people are trying to make it when we're talking about green. So I have a lot of questions. I'd really like to see what the normal workout situation would be, what that would be like.
And so I think that's part of Kaepernick's response too, because the normal workouts are on Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. Not on Saturdays, because Saturdays they gave a day for a game, so coaches are using that. So
I understood that.
That's one of his problems. I don't know about the waiver situation, what that would normally be, but I do know. I think that the problem is from Kaepernick's perspective, this can't be normal because of the previous lawsuit that was already there and all of the mistrust that's already been there between both sides. So for him, it wasn't so much from what I'm reading. It's not so much that the problem with the waiver it wasn't that a liability waiver of him getting injured. It was that if later on he found out that basically they chose not to sign him because of another collusion issue or another, blackball thing, and they just did this for the sake of publicity, he could not sue them. So it wasn't like I didn't like the fact that there was an injury waiver. The language in there said basically that for no reason could he hold the NFL liable if he later found out that there was something wrong.
So I can't be mad at it. You got to protect yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting, like I said, now some people a good majority of people are saying he should have, looking at it from with us, with normal people, they're saying like he shouldn't have even done that. You wanted a chance to get to play. They presented you with something that would give you a chance to play, and you punted on because you wanted to be a diva, basically. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you didn't show that you could be, a good team player or whatever, because you chose to a shirt that said Kunta Kinte, which we understand what that means.
Mm-hmm. So it was aggravating the point that he said, like, that they're trying not to highlight anymore. That it just seems.
But I mean,
it doesn't make the case he's not doing the most. Go ahead, Kellz. My bad.
To the point that is that part of the point that he's trying to make? Like, if I do get back to the NFL, I'm still gonna push this. I'm still gonna be an activist. I'm still gonna kneel or whatever. I mean,
I think he said he's not gonna do that. I think he said that he wouldn't kneel.
Yeah. Right. He did say he wouldn't kneel, but I think his point was, I'm still not going to let you all control me. Yeah. And I think what some people are saying is good. That's what you should do, because these white owners should not be able to control you. Whereas the other side of this discussion is saying, but you trying to get on their team, so you gotta you gotta do what you gotta do to get in the league, and you're not helping yourself, and so it makes it look as though you are trying to, do whatever. And so all day I've heard, even when we talked about this in the group, They're gonna call Stephen A. coon because he's basically said, you gotta basically this is a show. You weren't trying. You were trying. You're trying to. What do they say? You trying to look good in front of your fans and people on social media, but you're still not gonna get picked up because now you've proven to these owners that you're still going to be a problem.
Uh-huh.
So, and I get both sides of it.
I can see both sides. I just don't see what's gonna get him.
Yeah, because it's almost like at the same time you shouldn't have to. He should be able to play simply off of the merit that he's really good. And there's definitely, if you watch the Bears game Sunday, he can't be no worse than Mitchell Trubisky, who we got on the Bears quarterback. So it's not an issue of he exactly. I'm better than Mitchell Trubisky. That's what I'm supposed to put it like that. He was absolutely horrible. But so it's not that. So you have opportunity. There are teams out there who need a quarterback, and you basically they're saying fumbled this opportunity because you wanted to be, you want to look like you Malcolm X in the situation where you just needed to get a job. And so from a normal person's perspective, I get that point because we're not going to walk into, we're not going to walk into our job, which maybe we should. We're not going to walk into our job and be like, and going off on our boss and telling them what they going to do and we black, so you need we know we're going to get fired. We know we're going to get fired.
Right.
If that happens.
And that is the only change that will come from that is we get fired. And they change a policy that ensures that nobody else does it again. Right. Like they put a policy in place that will put fear in the hearts of any activist within the workplace, near or far. Is how that works. And
then I'm not saying that's right, but so
I think it's not right. That's reality.
From that. Yeah, but I think that's their point is this reality. And so it's been interesting. I'm interested to see how this continues to play out, just simply because again, we can't say the dude can't play. It's not an issue of talent. This is the issue of now of something else. So, all right, let me move on real quick. We don't spend all our time. Real quick, Mayor Pete.
Buttigieg. You gotta call him Buttigieg.
He Buttigieg today, huh? So the story talks about is a black woman smiling at a young black boy. It's been splashed across the webpage, detailing Mayor Pete's plan to combat racial inequality, which he billed as the comprehensive investment in the empowerment of Black America. But when the woman in the photo learned her likeness was displaced on the Democratic presidential candidate's website, she was confused. So she is an African American. She's actually she doesn't know what the Douglas plan is. And so she doesn't understand why Mayor Pete used the photo. This also comes on the heels of course, Mayor Pete now taking the lead in Iowa, which, of course, if he wins Iowa, we know this is the same thing that happened with then Senator Obama, who went from being a nobody who we had never heard of to the president because he won Iowa. So Mayor Pete is trying to do that. He's definitely being, a force in terms of the black community, trying to get the black vote. And so his Douglas plan is now what he's trying to tout to rally the African American vote. Q, thoughts?
This was just a silly mistake to be made. From a branding and marketing perspective, I'm just thinking this is just a silly mistake to be made. You know what I'm saying? Like it was unnecessary. All the regular brown folks around that you could have pulled to the side to take a photo, gazing at the little brown baby, and you had to pull a stock photo from a woman who ain't even in the US of A to post on your website. Like, this is just an unnecessary conversation to have right now. So I'm interested to see what happens in Iowa, especially after this, because this just seems silly. I don't have anything philosophical or deep or profound to say about this. This sounds silly. This is unnecessary. Why? How did this happen? Somebody is at home updating their resume and removing this from their resume.
Somebody got fired.
Somebody got fired.
Mm-hmm. Somebody like, what is this? Why is my picture?
I don't know what this is.
I'm confused as to why in the world. Yeah, what in the world was really y'all? Again, I don't have a problem with them using a stock photo, but for something that was so important, you probably wanted to make sure.
Do research or something.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you've been on the campaign trail for all this time. You ain't took not one picture with one black person.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I do have a problem with him using a stock photo at this point. Like, you running a whole campaign to be the leader of this nation, and you can't corral 2 black people, a handful of black folks to take some pictures. I have a problem with that. You need to reassess your situation if you can't get some whole adult tangible people to lay your hands on and take a photo of.
He should have took a picture with somebody black.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah, he should. I mean, I'm so just saying in the grand scheme of it, but
that was a bad. That was a bad,
bad move. It's a bad move. It's a bad move.
So many of these candidates are having these these mistakes this campaign.
I think they move too fast. Like, you just moving so fast, you're not really paying attention to certain things, not realizing that every move you make is being looked at. Everything you do.
They're having too many people.
Yeah.
Everything you
they have to go so fast because they're keeping up with so many different people. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you gotta stay constantly looking at something. It's hard to get focused on anything for us as voters. So I can only imagine what it's like for them as candidates, trying to get dirt, trying to run a clean but not so clean, like a midday type of cleanliness campaign to stay above it. Well, like, it's crazy. This is crazy. So these types of things are bound to happen because there's not enough time nor people within a campaign to keep up with all the people they're campaigning against. It's just not happening.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you had one job was to find this, whoever found that picture had one job.
One job, website. That's you, player. Website. That's all you got to
do. The web. We look at the wanted ads to see if Mayor Pete looking for a new website guy that we know he got fired.
Oh, we know he
got a public relations. Somebody on their team had to pack their bags on this evening.
Yeah, it was bad. That was a bad move. That was a really bad move. And I am, like I said, I don't think it's like a campaign killer, but I think it was a really bad move.
Yeah.
Really bad move. So Mayor Pete's in trouble. And we gotta definitely keep an eye on that, because again, now we're getting closer and closer to Iowa, and the closer we get to that, these are going to get more and more important. So, and I was thinking today, I ain't heard nothing from Uncle Bernie in a minute. So, is he still recovering? What my boy at? I ain't heard nothing from him.
Where's Bernie?
Where's Bernie?
Y'all tell us where Bernie.
They have a debate tomorrow, don't they? Isn't there a debate tomorrow?
Yes.
He's in bed. Bernie is in the bed. Where Bernie is.
He's been in the bed for about a month.
He better be tonight, because they coming for him on tomorrow. He's had sufficient rest and relaxation time, so they coming for him tomorrow. They're like, "Oh, you still in this thing? Got bet. Let's go."
They need to come for Pete and Elizabeth Warren tomorrow. That's who they need to come for, because we done pretty much moved Joe to the side. Mm-hmm. So Joe is barely hanging on. So they pretty much got to do something with Warren. Booker, he's still lurking. Castro, I ain't worried about him. Yang ain't worried about him. Like, so you got to do Bernie, Elizabeth, and Mayor Pete. So
they still fooling with old Harris. Is she still hanging around?
Kamala's still there. Oh yeah.
She in there?
Oh yeah, Kamala's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got some, some work to do. So, all right. Once again, the news. That's what we have in the news tonight. Of course, the news is brought to you again by our Thanksgiving Feed a Family program. If you would, again, join us by donating ever you can to the With the Scoop Radio Show. We are feeding families for Thanksgiving, so we have to the end of this week till Monday to donate. Whether it's $1, whether it's $1 million, we take it all, and 100% of your money is going to help feed a family. I spoke that into existence, didn't I? It's going to help feed families. All we ask you to do, again, send it to us, and we will, and put the city that you would like for the money to go to. Also, if you have not hit the share button, please do so, so we can go and so we can use the hashtag Scoop Radio, so that way you can be entered into winning our free Money Mentor classes. All right, Kellz. Well, we got hot topic.
Wow. So this is time for the hot topic. The hot topic is a topic that we have discussed many times before. I think what's kind of different for this particular segment is that it was a video of a guy. I don't know if you guys saw the video. He had on like a navy blue, like long sweater. Is that a team? Is that a football team or something? Anyway,
it looks like a college team or something. Yeah.
Okay, and he looked like he could be.
He was in his uncle gear.
Yeah, uncle gear.
Big uncle.
Late 40s, 50s, early 50s. And he basically had a video of saying how he provided for his wife and his family, take care of his kids. And that's what men are supposed to do. That whole spiel. And personally, I didn't see anything wrong with it. I think this is something that many adult, and you can even lean to say older, seasoned men believe like this. But old people were upset. Oh my God, even in the group, they're upset. So we're gonna talk about it, then we're gonna go to some of these comments. I will go ahead and start with. I'm gonna leave Win for last, since he is male. What you think about it, too?
So I watched the video late. I saw the comments before I watched the video, and I already knew where we were going. When I saw Derek Jackson attached to it, I already knew where the comments were going to go. But when I watched the video, I agree. There was nothing wrong with what this man was saying. And I believe each and every one of us have at least one or two people in our lives that we can reach out and touch that subscribe to this life that this man was talking about. Now, it always is. It just, there was nothing wrong with what this man was saying. He was essentially saying that it was his duty to make sure that his babies and his family, his wife and his kids were taken care of. At any point, they can pick up the phone and call me, and I'm there. My wife doesn't pay. He didn't say she didn't pay nothing. He said she didn't pay the structure bills, the mortgage, the lights, the water, the insurance, those types of things. But he didn't say that, he didn't mention control, that she didn't get to go and do nothing. She do what I say. Like, none of those things that came from the comment sections in any of the threads that we talked about, the assumptions that were being made, were interested. I also, before I hush for a moment, I also found it interesting that some of the people who found issue with this pointed out the fact that he was like drunk, like him holding this beer totally deflated all of the sense that he could have possibly been making. When we've seen folks post, stop it. When a beer becomes the thing that discredits you from having some good damn sense, I hate it. I'm a hater here. Like, stop it. Okay. Like, let's stop insulting the people's intelligence to make us think that you cannot listen to nothing that this man is saying because he got a tall boy in his hand. Now I'm not listening to you. Like, I'm through talking to you now. Like, cause you that sounds silly. I'm not here for that. But yeah, I don't have no problem with this.
Yeah. What do you think, Wayne? You actually told.
I think my first mistake was posting the video that was attached to Derek Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Derek Jackson could say Jesus is Lord, and we're going to be like, see, he told the women. And And so I think that was probably my first mistake because when I posted the video, I said my question was, is this unusual for men now to think like this? Because to me, out of the men that I associate with, I don't know nail dude who doesn't, if he doesn't pay for the bills in his house, he wants to be in a position financially where he can pay all the bills in his house and his wife does not have to work. So I didn't see anything major about it. I just wonder why it was a big deal because I thought this was the norm. I thought that as a man, it was normal for us to desire for our spouse to have the option to work, not for them to have to work.
Yeah, not uncommon.
So that's why I asked the question. And I think what angered what two things struck me weird. Number one, that again that the bros was so defensive without even answering the question. Like,
ready.
I don't have a problem if you disagree with that. I don't have a problem with you like, hey, I can't do that. I don't agree with that. I think the women should pay, half if they're gonna live. I don't have a problem with that. If that's what you think, okay. We just disagree. But it was like we jumped to the problem is women don't want to be accountable.
What? Yeah.
They be ready to jump in and say that. That's they
women want the men. Where that come from?
Women didn't have nothing to do with what either of the men was talking about. That was one of the more calm messages Derek Jackson has ever given after one of his videos. At what his little synopsis. Like, it made the most sense. It wasn't attacking nobody. None of that.
Yeah. It was like, I didn't see anything. And y'all know if I agree with Derek Jackson. I'm not a fan, but so if I'm agreeing with them, something is up. I don't agree. Yeah. I think I don't maybe agree with Derek Jackson 3 times. So
let me go to some of these comments. So let's see. One comment says, and Q, can I touch on this already? Touch on this. Says this dude is drunk off some tall boys talking stuff, but okay. Another guy says, I take issues with sweeping generations in most circumstances. I thought this was an interesting comment. The men I know who handle their business do not brag about it for attention. This is just some drunk fool looking for attention.
In his living room with his family?
And somebody else is recording.
I'm like, do you know how many times my dad grabbed everybody's attention like that? It may not be that speech, but any speech. I'm like, any man, when somebody older in the room starts talking, most people stop and listen. And somebody
and it wasn't like he was like, and we don't know, we weren't there, but it wasn't like he was like, hold the camera, I'm about to go ahead and get him.
Right. Get that camera. Tell Junior to get that.
He was just talking.
No, he was just talking. It probably does it all the time.
And even if you did just grab or say, hey, grab it, like just disagree. Just like, you know what? That sounds like something from the 50s to 60s. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And my thing is too, if the argument was the other way around. So, I call it a modern traditionalist. So the argument was the other way around, and it's saying that, men and women should pay 50-50 and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'd be like, well, I don't believe that, but I ain't supposed to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, you saying, even though I don't really necessarily believe in all that, but I don't understand what's the passion of being so against it, when most of us have grown up in that, kind of mentality, especially in our age.
So I have two responses to that. Mm-hmm. One, I think, and the other is something that I was told. So I think that men responded so passionately because number one, it's easier to respond passionately than to say, I can't afford to do that. That's what I think. I think that that's a difficult thing for us to say. I cannot afford for my wife not to work. I think that's difficult to say. The other one was, I was talking to a guy earlier today, and we were talking about it, and his comment to me was that that he doesn't have a problem doing it, but it's not going to relieve any stress or strain because he said when he tried it, the only thing, this is two other men that said this, the only thing that happened was their wives found something else to complain about, which was that they were always at work and never at home. And so if you want to live this certain lifestyle, then that means I'm going to have to go out and chase this paper. And if I go chase this paper, I'm not going to be at home. And so their thing was like, I can't make her happy either way.
I think the answer to that second one would be as a wife, because I could understand that. Like, I won't discount that is probably a stressor for some men, especially if you say, I want you to be home and this is the lifestyle I'm going to set for you. If the man and woman are not aligned in what that lifestyle is going to be and what it takes to get there, I can see that being an issue. That just means you must communicate. That doesn't mean you have to change the whole plan. And I know that saying communicate is just as bad as I'm saying accountability here lately. It's like, what? Oh, a conversation. It's like, no, she said I got to go to work. I'm going to work and figure out the rest of it. Like, that's not how that works. So to me, I would say you have to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time within your marriage. And if that is what you desire, and if you all both desire the same thing at the root, figuring out how you grow the branches should be minimal. Like, have the conversation with your wife so y'all can figure out how to live your best life. But just throwing the whole idea away that you both initially agreed on simply because it didn't work out the first couple times you tried it, the first time you tried it, sounds like you didn't really want to try that. Like that's not something that you really wanted. If you really want to do something, you're going to come back to the table and reassess it and try and figure it out. You signed your whole forever away with this person. Why do we have so much issue making it the most comfortable thing that we could possibly do? Having a little discomfort in a moment so that we could have long-term, I'm good. Like, I don't get that. So no, to me, I say figure that out. Go back to the table with your wife and say, you said you want this thing. I'm trying to do this thing. And when I come home, we argue all the time because I'm not here to do all of these things. Which one do you want? And now she has to then be accountable for what it is you want. What do you want? You want me sitting on the couch with you? You want me collecting coins? What you want me to do, babe?
But to me, that's still getting way. It
is.
That's still getting off topic.
It is. But I wanted to answer that. As a wife, I wanted to cover that.
help me understand why is it off the topic? Help me understand.
I just think it's way off because if we're talking about men that want to provide for their family, like since that is the traditional way of things, why is it such a terrible thing? Why?
Yeah, I don't think. Again, that was my first. I don't think it's a terrible thing.
But a substantial number of men, almost every man on that post.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. That's why I said I don't think. I don't think that they think that it's a bad thing. I think that their response is rooted in the fact that they can't do it. Mm-hmm. And so instead of just saying, I make $75,000 a year, and that is not enough money to live the lifestyle that we are trying to live. So I need her to go to work so she can bring in her 75, and we can live off of 150 instead of living off of 75.
Yeah,
I think that's really the response to what they're trying to say, and I'm guessing because again nobody clearly articulated that, but
I mean that would be men being held accountable. They don't want to hear that. That's why.
Well, and I don't think that's necessarily being accountable. I think it's just being vulnerable. Like at some point, it's okay to be like, I can't do that. Like I don't have it. I don't have.
So let me just say, saying I make $75,000 a year, and I'm not going to be able to do that thing on $75,000 a year. then translate to a woman. I can't just solely live on we can't live on $75,000 a year. You're right. So I'm gonna take my butt to work because 75 times 2 feels a lot better to us both than 75 times 1. Now we're debating a variable. When you have the conversations that happen on that post, we're now debating a fundamental, how you gonna love me? How comfortable do you feel loving me? So that's why you get this push and pull from men and women when we have this conversation. So that's why I think Kellz is saying it don't matter. That's not what we're talking about, because it's not. That's not what that man was talking about. He wasn't breaking down the rough times that old girl might have had to go to work and might have had to cover him if he got sick and none of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the fundamental is I'm holding my family down through it all. So when we going back and forth about 50-50, that sounds silly.
Let me jump in and show the poll. We do got an active poll going. Should me financially responsible party in the marriage? So I wanted to jump in and get that in before we got further. But yeah,
responsible, meaning should they pay all the bills? Should we pay all the bills?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
That's why I said financially responsible. I wasn't gonna say all the bills.
So are you asking by that question, should we pay all the bills, or are you saying should we be, when you ask me,
I'm just saying yes to the video or no to the video.
Okay. Pay all the bills. Okay, got it.
That don't necessarily mean pay all the bills, though. To me,
that's what he said.
I've used this example before. I think you even mentioned it. If he's talking about the major bills, he might not. I mean, he said my wife never had to pay a mortgage. I don't remember exactly what the
mortgage part.
The rent, the mortgage, the cable, the insurance, the gas, those things. School clothes still got to be purchased. Groceries still got to be purchased. Vacation might have to be taken care of. Those types of things.
Yeah. He said so she don't pay no groceries too. He said she don't do groceries. Okay. He said she don't pay no groceries either.
Well, I mean, my household that was like that. My mom did work though. Like
he said, she don't pay no clothes. He said because he got 8 kids, and anytime his kids need something, they know to call him and not her. That's not something she gonna. I was like, this is
blessed,
right? This is blessed on the side.
I wanted them to pan the camera around her. I wanted to see her.
Yeah,
she over there quiet talking about. Yeah, tell him back. I sure do. He sure does. They sure do.
My man, I'm going. I wonder what that savings account look like, because if she works, she banking a whole lot of money. But and he
mentioned child support, so that leads me to it. That makes me assume that all the kids are with the current wife. So there must be kids somewhere that could have possibly been child support babies, but he got them covered too. So baby mama straight, wifey straight. He got his whole life set up. He said, hey, 8 and all, I'm handling mine. You know what I mean? That's not even the ideal situation for the average man to have 8 babies, to even have to take care of, right? Like, I mean, back in the day, maybe there was big families like that, but we not have the average family is 3 kids, something like that, maybe.
Yeah. He might got some outside ones though. It's a lot of outside ones around here with 8, 9, 7, 8.
That's well, yeah.
Nobody taking care of all of them. Now I want to read some comments. Now I apologize because I can't. It's not letting me make them go live, but we had some that came through while we were talking. Kay says, when you're in a true relationship, it's about supporting each other. There's no way my husband should be stressed out paying for our household. So I'm thinking that, kind of on the fence. Let's see. Cicely says, I guess this is for the question about the men being upset. Says, Kellz, maybe for the same reason that many of those same men believe they should be pursued by women as opposed to vice versa. He just said they yeah, I definitely, when I brought that up, that's why I wanted to make sure to read her comment, because I specifically remember looking at some of those men's comments and thinking to some of those posts. And I will say they have been consistent about, to me, not want to take any kind of traditional route to love or any traditional type of court type of responsibility. I'm just saying most of those. I mean, they're in line with.
Like I said, I can't argue with you. I want, you know, like in this moment, I want to be like, but the man, I got nothing. I got nothing.
To me, but what I have seen though is some of these same men complain about women being independent. So you don't want her, but you mad because she doing it for herself. And I remember being up some specific posts like that. Yeah. I remember some specific posts where they put a scenario out there and they're like, you know, like the one about buying a woman's gift if it's her birthday and you don't get what she wants, she go out and buy it. And a few of these same men was offended.
And they feeling.
You really don't forget anything, do you?
No.
I told y'all like an elephant. Kellz is like an elephant when it comes to the mind. I do not.
Jesus Lord, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I used to have a photograph when I was little, like for real. So I really don't forget nothing. It faded with, you know, extracurricular activities. But no, yeah. So I do remember that, and it to me, if you would be offended by something as small as a gift, when a woman saying, "Okay, cool, you ain't got it," let me know. If you're offended by that, then you there's no way you can be offended by saying you want to take care.
Yeah, like I said, I think in both of those instances, the it boils down to us just not being able to say, "I ain't got it."
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just that I don't have it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And the feel and having to deal with the whatever you want to call it, humiliation, whatever that comes with not being able to do it. And I'm not suggesting. I think that that's a real thing for men. I don't think that it's something that we should. I think that as a man, and I've said this before, we should carry a healthy sense of pride. Like we need a healthy sense of ego. But when you get to as a man, when you get to the point where you can't tell the woman who loves you that I can't do this, and even say it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I can't do it. I want to do this, but I can't.
But I think a lot of us would definitely appreciate that.
I think that that's what we need to understand. If a man, and I posted that, if the woman, that's why I posted what I posted earlier when I said the woman who loves you is more concerned. I didn't say she didn't want it. Is more concerned with your presence, presence, than your presence, presents. That's why I said that, because we have to, and I struggle with it as a man sometimes, to being able to say what I can and cannot do. I can't do that. I don't have it. I ain't got money for that right now. But it's okay, you know, for a woman who really cares about you. She will understand, especially if you out there hustling. If she see you out there grinding, she not going. If she loves you, she not going to reject you or think any less of you as a man. If you say, I don't have it right now, you will feel less as a man, which is something we got to deal with, a totally separate issue. But it's okay.
Yeah, that's so true.
I mean, even if I ain't gonna even say even if, because we know, like we said, Derrick Jackson, that caused the ruckus. But I'm just always surprised about when any of these videos come out. But when the grandma come out saying all the women need to know how to cook, they sharing that. Same concept.
Yep.
Yeah, except for in that instance, it's what's being done for me instead of what I have to do. So we're all comfortable receiving.
Yes.
We're all comfortable getting and receiving and being on.
It ain't us receiving.
I'm saying that in the instance of, like in that instance, of course we're comfortable because we feel like at that moment there is value being placed, given to, or honor given to us, as opposed to the feeling of we're constantly being told we're not good enough. And I'm not suggesting that that's what's being happened, but I think that is, for a lot of men, that's how men feel. Like we're constantly being told we're not good enough, and at some point we gotta understand that that's really not what's being said. It might feel like that, but that's really not what's being said. What's being said is, I translate it now as saying, I want to be your partner. And this is the level of partnership I want us to have. Not that you're not good enough if you don't make as much money as I do.
Right. Right.
And it's hard. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's hard. It is hard. It's hard to make that shit.
I get it. I get it. So
let me throw this out there, because so today, as I was with these same group of men who I was having this conversation with, they were talking about. It also came up that there is a level of sacrifice for men. So in order for us to be this type of man that's in the video, there's a level of sacrifice, hours worked, things like that. Like in some instances, you got to work more hours, work overtime, and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes when we do that, we are still, like I said, there's still something that you're being told you're not home enough. And then when you get home, you still got to help with the kids and clean up and all that kind of stuff. And one person said, I sometimes don't think that my partner understands exactly how much I do. And I said, well, why not? And his comment was, just like the guy in the video said, just because I don't go around bragging about or always saying I work 12 hours a day, I clean up, I do this, that sometimes that same level of respect that women want, or honor that women, we don't feel like we get the same thing. And my question to him was, well, why don't you say that?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that? I said, because to me, as a man, I can't be mad if you don't honor me, if I don't tell you, if I don't remind you, hey, you do know I had to do this, and this. Yeah. I'm tired. And so I said, and then, as an example, then we get mad come Father's Day when we not honored, but all year long you done said that you ain't supposed to remind nobody of what you did. Well, sometimes people need a reminder. Sometimes so why is it, as a man, do I feel, am I not supposed to be honored? Because even he was like, I ain't supposed to talk about what I do. I'm just supposed to do it. Why not? Why can't you talk about what you do?
Good point.
If you do a good job, somebody you should be able to say, hey man, I did all this today. And somebody should be able to say, hey, good job. Yeah. You deserve that.
I'm glad you said that, Win, because it is very important that we all get our roses. You know what I'm saying? What you just said is something that absolutely happens with housewives. I can tell you once you can easily get into a groove where you get to, this is what you do. This is your role. This is my role. And I don't want to hear all that extra. And it gets easy to get comfortable. Not necessarily I don't want to hear that extra, but it gets comfortable in, this is your role. This is my role. What are you complaining for, type of thing? Or what do you want a cookie for that? I want a cookie because that was a little more than what I expected to have to do. And I still did that thing. That's why I want my cookie. Same way you want your cookie. When you show out on Thanksgiving, that's not a normal dinner. So you expect all of your baby, this was good. You want everybody laid out, bellies open, top button spread. Like that is your thank you. So when I'm asking for a little bit more on my thank you and you did that, baby, then you should get that. Like I completely agree. That is where women can be more accountable. Yes.
Definitely tell her. I mean, I'm surprised it ain't came out because in the heat of thing, any kind of
well, and I think, and in the Kellz, to your point, in the conversation, what's interesting in the what both of them, the guys who are talking to said was, I have to get, like, when I get mad, I say it, or like I have to, like, basically. When she does that, when their wives do that, they're like, okay, like they just kind of, I think they'll try to have a conversation with them and they don't hear them. But then when they get mad and say it, it's like, oh, shoot, yeah, I forgot. You do all of this stuff that I ain't think about. And I'm like, well, and so their thing was, we shouldn't have to. This is what we're supposed to do, so we shouldn't have to tell you. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think that you should very well let it be known that these are all of the things that I am doing, and so you should respect that. Like, respect that I'm
as
out
a provider,
here.
I can speak. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
go ahead. No, I was going to say, as a provider, I can see where you would feel frustrated and only being able to express what you do in anger. Because when you are a provider, you are getting up, you are doing that work day in and day out, sick, tired, mad, frustrated, anxious, all that other stuff out of love for your family. It's not so much out of the duty of your title or your position. You do it because you love your family and you want that foundation for them. So when that's not seen, and you have to get in the midst of a heated argument where it's not even related to that a lot of the times for people to see, damn it, I'm tired, or you don't see that how hard I'm working for you. Then now all of a sudden everybody's like, well, you asked for this. You are my husband. And now we're not even thinking about where it's really rooted. Like, you don't see me, how hard I'm working out of love for you now because it's rooted in this mad that we got. So like, I get that. That's why I live with as a provider. Anybody who gets up and does that day to day, having to deal with outside sources, having to take care, and we all know what we got to do when we go to work. So for someone who does not identify with that, it makes it hard for you to make that connection. So having to wait till when you at your highest moment to do that, that's not fair. That's not fair to do to a person. I feel that. I thank you for saying that, Wayne. That was good. That was. Mm-hmm. That's good going into this next segment.
Yeah. But if you, to me, I get it out though. Whether it be not, it needs to come out. Yeah. If we gotta talk about it later, we can. But holding it in, the show ain't gonna fix nothing. Just gonna
not at all.
At least let it out so they can know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's interesting was they all disagreed with me. They were like, "Nah, we can't do that." I'm like, "Yeah, you can." Like they were all like, "As a man, I can't do that. I just gotta suck it up." And I'm like, "Well, you continue to be frustrated. And that's dumb.
What she gonna do?
Like that's dumb.
She gonna get so mad. She gonna do what? Go get a job?
Right.
Exactly.
Actually, listen.
Shoot, get that mad. Go get a job, baby. Get mad. That is the maddest you're gonna get. Is a job. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, tell them sis said should be okay. Tell them your girl said should be okay.
I'm mad we missing all the comments though.
I got one. Cicely just says, in the spirit of sharing the only cookies I share as of current, I love men and I want to know you're awesome, King. All of you in your own right. Thank you, Cicely.
That is a very good segue. Yes. We're going to end this on a high note. This has been the Hot Topic with Kellz. It is brought to you by Curvy Kitten Clothing, where self-reflection is perfection. Remember that Curvy Kitten is more than a clothing line. It's a movement to showcase women loving their curves. Is the foundation for women loving each other.
Yeah.
So we're on to the main topic. We got some more discussion for y'all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it is actually right aligned with our previous hot topic. It is actually really, really good. And this segment is brought to you by Elegance by Design, where healthy hair and skin is our priority, but a beautiful you is always our specialty. You can get your all-natural hair and skincare products at elegancebydesign.com. That is design with a Z.com, and I will get you hooked up. So be sure and holla at your girl. All right, so tonight we are talking about who cares more about who makes more money. No, that's a mouthful, but let's say that one more time. Who cares more about who makes more money? Okay. So Wynn brought this conversation to our attention with a comment that was pulled from a thread where the poster was pretty much saying that no one really prepares men for how to maintain or to thrive. We teach men to go to work. We don't really teach men how to thrive. I'm paraphrasing because I can ramble. So we are wanting to, so we were talking about how important it is to get a wife, to get the family, provide for the family, do your duty as the man. But we don't talk about the things that it takes to thrive in that role. Similar to what I think Wynn was just talking about as far as being able to say, this is what I do. Feeling fulfilled in your role, maintaining the money, and still maintaining a household, because a lot of men break their backs trying to provide for the household and still end up feeling like they're not doing enough. I took that comment to say I totally agreed that there is a conversation that needs to be had about the importance of money. Where is it really rooted as far as relationships are concerned? I think I'm gonna go real quick because I want us to all get in on this one. I think that it is absolutely for women a stability thing. I want to know that you are in the position to provide stability for me if I put all of my chips into your basket together. If we're going to bet on each other, you are in the right space, a safe space to get us where we're going. Even through the bad times, I trust you're going to be able to get us where we got to go. I think men feel that I have to conquer this survival thing to the point she feels the structure will be here regardless. So she'll take care of this stuff as long as I make sure she has the house. She'll maintain it as long as I build it. I don't really, and not saying that some men don't care about what it takes to maintain that. I'm talking on a very, very broad men, women, the basis of money type of thing. So when we get out in relationships together, I think we get bumfuzzled because men think they have to do it all, just provide it, and then she maintain it. Whereas a lot of the time, women nowadays are wanting to help maintain. Yes, I'm cool with maintaining, but I want to assist. I want to help the plan with how you plan to provide, because we do understand that you get tired, that men are dying at higher rates, like more, because of stress and heart rate, heart attack and all those things. We know that. So we want to do that work. So then there becomes the pull because we're not letting the other in to what we need. So that's why that's kind of where I'm thinking about that, but I know we're going to dig deeper. Let's see who I want to go to. Kellz, I've been chatting a lot tonight. I want to know what you think. What you
did you ask us a question?
I didn't. I just want to know what you thought about the topic. I didn't.
Usually you try to lead us off with a question.
I know. I talked a lot, so I'm gonna let you go on and do your thing.
Pass to me. I got you. I guess my thoughts on it. I can see how it is. Maybe it is a lot more pressure put on the men about making more money. I can't see that happening. I guess how I see it though is there's more women who, even if we, like we said before, even if we do kind of believe in that traditional sense about a man wanting to, a lot of women are willing to, most women are working and will work. It's not like we like, oh, I'm just gonna work till I get a husband. I mean, we live in a society where a lot of women are expecting to not have to work.
Yeah,
but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that traditionally this is what we're taught. That's why I think it's always so weird to me that there's so many, like there seems to be an overcasting shadow of men being expected to take care and be more financially responsible, but don't want to. Like the urgency or the want, the need to be that provider is not even there.
Yeah.
And what a lot of Alyssa said in her comment, I wanted to share her comments since we got one to come up. She says partnership. And I think more adults, especially those of us that aren't married, that's how we see it. Mm-hmm. Most of us do see it like that. But I don't understand why it's so hard for a lot of the men to realize that women still want that fairy tale love. I don't care how hard, how independent, how we got to be, how tough we are. We still want that deep inside. We just get to a point where we're like, okay, I don't have it, so I'm not gonna dwell on it. So why is that so hard to want to give your woman everything? To want it, not saying you have to, but just to want it.
To express that that's your desire. Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, the people want to know. Not even just single people, because that is the thing with wives. I'm in multiple wife groups, and wives say that. Wives who have whole husbands that already should have a lot of those barriers broken down have that same question.
Wow. Because to want something and not be able to do it is painful. So, okay, Kellz and Q, you have daughters, sons, nieces, nephews. Mm-hmm. There is something that your daughter, son, niece, nephew really wants. You want them to have it, but you can't do it. How does that make you feel?
Terrible.
That's the problem. That's exactly how. So imagine feeling like that every day.
Okay, and I see what you're saying. I do. That's a good point because I didn't think about it that way. So I do want to commend you on that before
you slap back up. Go ahead.
Right. I did not think about it that way. But in that sense, I guess an example I give is I remember actually dating a guy. I mean, we were dating pretty heavy, going on a date with a guy, and several dates. And I remember like this had to be like 4th, 5th date, and I feel like it changed the game for us because we were just talking about we had went to like I think we were driving around. Maybe it was Christmas time or something, like looking at the lights or something. We were in a kind of a ritzy neighborhood, and I'm just out just making conversation. I was like, oh, we were like, these are nice houses, blah blah blah, and I'm like, would you buy a house for me like that if you could? That's exactly how I said the question. I remember specifically saying if you could, and I mean flew off the handle. And this was some years ago. This had to be at least 8, 9 years ago. I mean, he was like, no, everything has to be 50-50.
He shut down and got mad, didn't he? Because
right.
you.
I'm like, this is a hypothetical question. We're just dating. I mean, this is not even. It was so. I mean, it was bad, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, dang, you should give me the stars, the rain, the moon, the sun, all the earth. So yes. Why the house making you fly off the edge?
Because you approached something that he did not believe he could do. And again, instead of he don't feel like he could give it to you. And I see your face, Kellz, and I understand it should not have first of all, it should not have elicited that response.
Yeah.
That response was not something that should have come. He should have, but again, instead of him saying, and maybe he didn't know to say it, I don't think I'll ever be able to afford that house. Mm-hmm. He got angry again. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna keep telling y'all. We know 2, 3 emotions. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many. We know 3 emotions. Happy, mad, fine. That's it. And so what I'm trying to get men to understand is that it's okay to say I can't do it. It's okay to feel like I don't know if I can do this. It's okay for a person who cares to say I don't know if I can do it.
Man, you can say I want to give you that, but I don't know if I can do it. I mean, I guess I just can't. Why?
Yeah, why you can't say that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying you got to wake up saying, "Oh, I wish I can give it this out every day." This is just.
Let me. Okay.
So
before we go to that, I want to answer your original question before we forget that and we move on because we talk. But to answer your question as far as how we feel and not being able to give it to our kids every day, I don't expect my children to partner with me to provide the wants and desires of their. I expect to partner with my husband to do that. So like with yes, I got what you're saying by that desire, but from my husband, I don't want you to look at me as though you're having to provide for me like a child. I want you to look at me like you're partnering with me to provide for our lives. That's where I think the difference is. And I liked that you gave that analogy because you are a man and you've also been a husband and a father. So you can identify with all of those actual real life relationships. So that and the fact that you gave that says a lot about how men may think about the people that they take care of. But your wife does not want to be viewed as a child or someone else you have to be responsible for in that way. She wants to work with you to respond to the things that happen within your household. So excluding her from that like a child is where you get that pushback, I think. If that is your mindset when dealing with your wife, she picks up on that. You excluding me like you don't think I can handle the details of what is taken to do this life. And I can do this. If you just exclude me instead of subject me to what decisions you make and expect me to be cool with it, then you'd have a whole different situation. So I think that's something your bros might want to take into consideration as well.
I agree. We do.
Yeah.
And my only thing I would say is we don't look at it like we see you as a child, but we do look at it like the ultimate responsibility of the family, you and the children, is on us. And so we don't generally look like as a child. No. But for the sake of the analogy, I use that as the analogy because typically the woman's
I'm not trying to say that you see her. I'm saying it translates into actions as though you aren't able to handle it. And not that you put her in a child spot, but you aren't able to deal with it on that level like the kids. It's like you're tearing the details of our life.
And I agree.
Deal with the details of the life. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that comes.
Because we will do that. I know. I'm like, oh, I didn't tell you. Why didn't you tell me? I can handle that. Well, I didn't think I should. So yes, we do that. I've done that. I agree. We shouldn't do that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start from the beginning to answer and then it'll eventually get to Kellz to what you were saying. So do I think who cares more? I think that the way we raise, I can't speak for non-black, but black girls, is we in general raise you all to be able to do all of the financial picture, make the money, balance the checkbook, know how to go grocery shopping, know how to do all of the stuff that comes with adulting and money and all that stuff. Whereas with boys, we teach them go to work. And I think on a base level, that's where the problem starts. We teach girls don't depend on a man. So because we don't want you to depend on a man, we teach you how to do mostly everything. Y'all know how to make money. Y'all know how to balance the checkbook. Y'all know how to save money. Y'all know how to go grocery shopping. Y'all know how to do all of that, all of the wonderful stuff. Whereas typically the bulk of the conversation between fathers and sons, is your job is to go to work, you cut that grass, you shovel the snow, you change the tires, and now apparently people know how to change tires. You take the trash out, you help her around the house, and you sit your butt down and watch football or basketball. Like, I think that's where our disconnect is. And so I think, Kellz, we put more pressure on women to be able to do things that men should be able to do as well. So men should be able to balance the checkbook, to know how to grocery shop, to know how to, do their own laundry, to do all of the things that we're expecting young ladies to do, because we all should be grown adults to be able to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think we do a disservice, and we've had to deal with this in my own family, where the women in the family feels like there's more responsibility, pressure, things put on us as young ladies, than there are on young. And I've heard that consistently in multiple families, that is how the difference between how women and men are raised. So Kellz, to your point, when you asked the question about, so why is it such a hard thing? He probably equates what he does for a living to how much that house costs, or what his projected money that he'll make over his lifetime with how much that house is. And when you don't feel like you can do something because you don't have the skill set to say, how do I manage money to get something like this, or manage credit, whatever, we go straight to anger because that's our defense. And it's wrong, but that's our defense.
So what do we do with that?
Now what do we do? I think it's
what do the women do with that?
Run.
So okay, so let me ask this. Let's go full circle.
Run.
So women. So did you sit up, Kellz?
Kellz said run.
All right. So here's what we do. Here's what I think. What we do. I think first of all, as adults to adult, we have honest conversations about what we know and what we don't know. And so, as a man, I think I have to be man enough. I hate that term, but I'm gonna use it to say, I don't know how to balance a checkbook. I don't know how to. I know how to just look at my account and go, "Oh, I got whatever." I don't know how to financially manage money that well. This is the way I do it. And if that's something that you are good at as a woman, you say either A, let's handle it. Like meaning, okay, fine. I will manage the day-to-day operations of the money if long as you bring it in. Like, but you still as a man have to participate, you still have to partner, you still have to talk about what our goals are. So if our goal is said house, then let's talk about the plan that we can put in place to get said house, if that's your strength. The other thing, as a man, you got to go and get education. Now I'm getting all into the stuff I'm gonna talk about at the end, but okay, whatever. You got to go and get some education. Like YouTube has everything. And y'all have openly heard me say this. I graduated college with a degree in finance. I know how to do investments. I knew how to do stocks, but I had no clue how to balance a checkbook. And I was a bank manager, not knowing how to balance a flipping checkbook. I had to humble myself and go to my ex-wife who knew how to balance a checkbook and say, teach me how to balance a checkbook. And I had to be humble and learn. And over time, it's like, oh, this is easy. Okay, now I see. Show me your strategy. How do you do it? How ask other person? How do you do it? Until you learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but my plea is that we get past that. If women have to get past that, we have to be strong, be soft, be patient with the men. Then this cycle of me not being able to do it equals, failure. I think that mindset has to change.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. You said what? If you have to
men not being afraid to do something or not being able to do something financially, like that automatically equals disdain or equals failure, equals. I mean, we have to change that mindset because again, every man should still know every woman still wants that fairy tale. Even if it's just you speaking it. You know what I mean? Like we want to know that you want to love us so much that you don't want us to want for anything. And it's not really monetary. It's just, to me, it's the idea of it. But for you to even stump out my little hypothetical bubble.
Right. Yes, that means you have no intention of ever providing that. Yes, your intention.
And that's not how we mean it. We mean it. We don't mean that we don't have the intention. We don't have the belief. I don't think that. Yeah, we don't see it like that. But I agree. I understand that.
I mean, but that. How do we? I'm actually like from the male point of view. Like, how do you change that mindset?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I can speak for how I changed it. I don't know how for others. For me, it was literally having to lose. Like once I got to the point where I lost everything, I literally had to encounter people who was like, "Dude, I still think you're a good dude," like, and had to believe it because my own personal psyche had been torn down so much that the idea that I could be broke and carless and making $13, making $11 an hour, that somebody would still respect and honor me as a man was unfathomable to me because before that time, all I knew was my worth was based upon the most money I make. So it took me having to go to be at the bottom, and then understanding that again, that this is just not real. Like everything I've been taught is a lie. And then having other men around me that, like, and y'all were there for this when I was like, look, I'm not dating for years. And I refused to date because I wasn't making enough money. That was my thing. I'm making enough money to date nobody. And y'all having to tell me you're stupid. You're dumb. You're being dumb right now. And other people having to tell, like, and my dad, like, I literally had a conversation where my dad was like, so you just not gonna date nobody anymore? Like,
how's that gonna work?
He was like, so you do, like literally one day the conversation was, are you still hurt? Like, you've been divorced for a while now. You still hurt? Like, what's up? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm just trying to get myself back together. And he was like, dude, a woman is still gonna date you. Like, you're good. And I'm like, no, I have to. Again, I went from making $75,000 a year plus bonus to $11 an hour. Like, that was a hard thing to endure. So it's really
I'm so glad we broke that chain. I'm so glad we broke that chain.
But it was still hard. Like I said, it was still difficult.
Yeah, well,
and I'm still I still have moments where I have to talk myself out. So I think for me and Kellz, to answer your question, we just have to, which is why I always say, for the right woman, with the right people around you, not just the woman, because it's your entire well of people who have to come alongside you, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't feel good about myself right now because I don't have this, I don't have that. And to be able to be in an environment where people say, but you're still good enough. And I think that's what men have to understand, is you're still good enough, even if you're out there hustling. Now, if you're lazy and you ain't doing nothing, that's a different conversation. Right. But you out here hustling, trying to make money, trying to do the best that you can, you are still valuable, you're still worthy, you're still worth being honored and respected. And that's what we have to believe, not just hear. We have to believe that. And then as we believe it, it changes.
Okay, so I'm thinking about like moving forward. What is it in children that little girls believe in this fairy tale and kind of keep that kind of fairy tale idea of love? Where is that happening in youth? Because it has to. Where is that learned? Why do we all watch cartoons growing up? Mm-hmm. We all watch Disney movies. So where does that disconnect happen to where men don't see that fairy tale and think that women may want that? Whether it's, like I'm saying, whether it's tangible or not, where does that romanticism?
First of all, we don't watch the same cartoons. Let's just be honest. We don't watch the same cartoons. Like, we're watching people get shot. We watch G.I. Joe. Y'all watch fairy tales. I watched I don't ever remember watching the cart. Like, if they did in the cartoons I watched, I wasn't paying attention to that part. I wanted to see somebody get shot. I want to see a fight. I want to see wrestling.
Okay.
So Prince Charming is imaginary from the beginning to the end. Is that what you're saying?
No, y'all never Prince Charming. I'm just saying that. So to Kell's point, if I think what we have to do to answer your question in youth, what do we have to do is I think we just have to get back to teaching. But start teaching young boys how to be more than just providers, how to instill worth that's not just rooted in how much money you make, that is in your personality, in your integrity. And we have to also get them to understand that culture is not going to affirm you. Overall culture is not going to affirm that having integrity, high character, hard work ethic is what you need. It's going to affirm for a woman that walking around with no clothes is the way to go. It's going to affirm to a boy that the more money you make is the way to go. So we got to move that. And then say, and then say, listen, this is the type of man, and this is the type of things that a woman wants. A woman's going to want a level of romance that you see in the movie. Provide it for her. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because what you'll find is you like it too, and you want some of it.
Right.
You want to make breakfast in bed, Basha. You want to and give you a massage in bed and a plate of Anyway, I digress.
Since literal tea.
Right.
You want her to wake you up with some head? I mean, Isha.
On that note, we have had it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's wishful thinking.
So we are going to go ahead and close this here segment right on up with that good old word.
If I take a lap.
Yes. That was a good conversation, and I know that this is a lot for us to think about, and we will continue to think about this, especially when we're talking about the root from our kids. I think we could do a little bit more to bring the little boys into the Prince Charming lifestyle of things, and then as our little girls, we can absolutely have them keep that idea of romance. But I think we could do we could do more to give them a little more dose of reality. We could share some of that across the sides so that we can get a little more balance in what we expect from one another. But yeah, very good conversation, y'all. Very good conversation. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and we're going to go ahead and get ready for Pastor Panda over here. I don't know. Should I say that? Is that like sacrilege to say Pastor Panda? I don't know. We got Pastor Troy and everybody else. So no, we're going to say Pastor Panda. All right. We got honorary doctors. I can be Pastor Panda. You are a real panda. A real panda.
Winfred's wisdom. Is that what we're doing tonight?
Yes.
Winfred's wisdom.
Yes. All right. So it is fitting that on the night that we are talking about who makes more money, that we would get a segment from the Money Mentor. I can promise you that we didn't plan it like this. I was actually looking for another one of those dope doses of sass and sage. But again, as you can see, she's a little under the weather, so you all are stuck with me. So before you hit that button or you tune out, because don't do that, because whether we want to admit it or not, the questions and angers and problems money bring into a relationship are real. My goal in this few minutes is to give you some concrete steps you can take that will help you make money conversations easier. Not easy, but easier. Our goal on the scoop is to see people be healthy people, and for those who are married or in relationships to enjoy healthy marriages and relationships. Healthy marriages, quoted by the APA, are good for couples' mental and physical health. They are also good for children growing up in happy homes, which protects children from mental, physical, educational, and social problems. And also, we need to understand this is important because the solution of making more money is not really a good solution. Did you know that divorce rates are higher in times of economic growth and in couples who make more money? According to research done by SunTrust Bank, 35% of adults said that finances are the primary trouble spot in their relationships. According to financial advisors who were surveyed, here are the financial issues that are tearing couples apart. Number one, opposing attitudes towards money. As you know, in each relationship, there is always a spender and there is always a saver. And with each attitude comes a specific way that you think and that you act with money. Having opposing attitudes towards money causes financial issues and will tear couples apart. The second thing is mismatched financial priorities. Again, if you are a spender, then you have the priority to spend. If you are a saver, your priority or your natural inclination is to save. So having mismatched financial priorities means that unless you come together and find a place of agreement, you will not be able to agree on how you should move forward with money in your marriage. Number three, credit card debt. Very simple. This typically happens in relationships when one person has credit card debt that the other person does not know about. Number 4, financial infidelity. Financial infidelity is defined as someone who has secret bank accounts, undisclosed debt, hidden purchases, or something like a gambling addiction. Number 5, overextending their budgets. Number 6, inability to compromise on spending. Number 7, major impulse buys. Number 8, stress from combining bank accounts. This typically happens because when a couple enters into a decision as to how they will spend money, there's not mutual buy-in. But what typically happens is the person with either the most money or the strongest personality gets their way, and the other person acquiesces to the decision in order to keep stress and strain out of the relationship. So they want to make peace and not do what they really believe is best, or go through the strain and struggle of the discussion that needs to happen for everybody to be on the same page. Number 8, spending unexpected major expenses. That's pretty self-explanatory. Number 10, spending too much on the wedding. Oh Lord, yeah. Spending too much on the wedding, which of course usually puts people in debt from day one, and therefore puts us in a position of stress, higher strain, because now we have to pay off a wedding, which adds to the bills that we are already bringing to the marriage. Number 11, not having pre-marriage financial counseling. Often we have marriage counseling where we talk about a lot of stuff, but we typically don't have pre-marriage financial counseling, which will help us with a lot of the things that were previously listed. And last but definitely not least, loss of financial control. This actually is most common when a woman is made to feel marginalized because of her perceived lack of contribution or influence in building family wealth. So, Winfred, what are your solutions? Here we go. Solution number 1. Solution number 1 is to get your individual credit score up. According to research done by the Federal Reserve Board, the greater the mismatch between a couple's credit scores, the more likely they are to separate within the first 5 years. I'm going to say that again. The greater the mismatch between a couple's credit scores, the more likely they are to separate within the first 5 years. Those with the biggest credit scores were most likely to form long-lasting, committed relationships. And the better your financial footing and the higher your credit score when a committed relationship starts, the less likely you are to break up after the first few years, according to this study. How do you do that? Well, you can enroll in one of my credit courses, or you can do some research to learn. You can take some classes, or do whatever you have to do to get the skills to learn how to raise and keep your credit score high. Number 2 thing that you can do, have regular, what I call debt dates. Have regular debt dates. Just like we schedule dates to go out to the movies or to dinner or to concerts, we schedule time at least once a month where you discuss your financial goals, your current debt, your debt elimination strategy, where you talk about actionable items to build wealth, to build your savings, to see what your balances are, to review your 401k or your stock portfolio or whatever you currently have. Guard this time and be as creative as needed, but leave this session with a clear plan and clearly knowing where you are as a team and where you are going. Fellas, please do not think that this is a waste of time. And please do not think that you have to come to this session with all of the solution. Here is something I'm going to tell you, fellas. If you ever, and if my mother's listening, please cover your ears right now. She probably won't hear this. Fellas, if you ever want to see your woman get real excited and real extra in the bedroom, Let her see how you are thinking and actively executing a plan that will make your family's financial future better. Listen and incorporate her good ideas. And if she is the stronger one in handling the day-to-day operations, let her manage them. I can guarantee you, if you and your partner do these date debts once a month for at least a year and execute what you agree upon, your marriage, including your sex life, will be in a much better position. Why? Because when a man and woman have a financial plan, they are relieved of the stress that comes with worrying about money. Number 3, play. Initially, getting out of debt is really, 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 really hard. You will be overwhelmed. You will be confronted with every shoe sale, with every airfare sale, with every buy 2 get 1 for free sale. Every family tradition will now have to be rethought. Every activity that you normally have will have to be questioned. Every restaurant meal will have to be treated like a major money decision. However, make this as fun as possible. Yes, there will be a lot of stress and pain as you readjust, but this can be fun. Look for ways to make games during this period. Here's a good example. There was a couple that I coached who chose to aggressively pay off their debt. And what they decided to do as a way to make this fun is for every credit card that they paid off, they would treat themselves to a dinner movie date night. That was fun for them. Another company I helped made a savings game. The first person to save $1,000 received a massage from the other person. And since for them, monthly massages was something that they liked and that they normally did, this was for them a worthwhile game to play with one another. My point is, find a way to play games during this process. Also, leverage a lot of the fun apps and games that you can play that will not only help you track your expenses and build wealth, but will teach you financial literacy. Apps like Robinhood and Stash are great. Then there are other apps like Wally, You Need a Budget, FinStrong, Spendless, Pocket Guard, and of course my favorite, Mint, that are great apps for budgeting. If you want to involve your kids, which you should, there are savings apps and games for them, like Saving Spree, Renegade Buggers, Bankaroo, Celebrity Calamity, Starbanks Adventure, Green Streets, Family Zoo. These are all top-rated financial literacy apps for children to get them involved. So to answer the question, who cares more? Here's my final answer. Your children care. Your children's children care. Your community cares. Your sisters care. Your husbands care. Your health cares. Your credit report cares. Black small businesses care. Back to my roots cares. Elegance by Design cares. Curly Kitten cares. Rent a Big Man Clothing cares. The better our credit is, the more disposable income we have, the more wealth we build, the better our community will be. We gotta care more about our financial health and our financial wealth than we care about anything else right now. Because if we don't, we will continue to be in trouble. That's all I got.
Good job. You said a whole last word right there.
Right.
Because you show right we care. You show right we do.
We care. Like 2020 Tony. I care. You know.
That's the truth.
Good job. That's a good tip. That date. That's something I'm about to put it set in old archives.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep. because those can be stressful. I added a bullet point to your point when I said we should schedule a regular date night after your debt date to reward yourself for a successful debt date, because you're gonna need a drink after a debt conversation. After debt date, you're gonna need a drink.
Right.
Or have a drink while you having the debt date. Like whatever you got to do to ease the tension. Like it's and they're not easy. They're not easy. They're not easy. They're initially not easy, especially when, like we were talking about earlier, we're not used to saying what we don't have. Mm-hmm. And we see our debt and our credit as a reflection, which we should, a reflection of who we are. But it doesn't mean that you're a bad person because you got bad credit or you got a lot of debt. Mm-hmm. And we make that assumption. So I think that's what we got to say. Listen, this is. I've recently had one of those conversations. I'm telling you, it was uncomfortable, but at the end of it, it was like, "Ooh, that wasn't bad at all." Like you just got to go into it saying, "Okay, the goal here is for us to get better, and so let's figure out what we got to do to get better." And I think if you approach it from that perspective, then it's still a difficult conversation, but it makes the difficult conversation easier because you know that this person is for you, and you cannot use this later in an argument.
Yeah. Don't do that.
That's why you got all of this debt. Now we can't because you can't. Don't do that. This is a sacred space. Guard the space. Guard the space.
Yeah, right. Okay, elephant.
Guard the space. Guard the space. Guard the space. Yeah, so it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. You made a dumb mistake. Okay, I made a dumb mistake. Let's fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good word, sir. Very good.
I like it.
Thank you for your coverage. See, it was meant. It was meant for you to deliver this good word on this Tuesday. It was to be wisdom. Winfred's wisdom today.
It was meant.
Appreciate you.
That was very good.
Anytime. Anytime. What is this? Oh. All right, so I guess it's time to shut it down.
It is.
Time to shut it down.
Kellz,
up to me. My turn. Very good show tonight. I've already got some inboxes saying that people enjoyed the show. They were trying to interact. Sorry for some of the technical difficulties. It wasn't us this time.
Right. Yeah.
It was not the user this time. It was the app. I still enjoyed it. Like always, I always have a good time. Please be on the lookout for Black Friday sales. Back to my roots. The Back to My Roots store is having what am I trying to say? It's having a Black Friday sale next Friday. I plan to be in the store for some time, so come by and see us, see your girls, see Back to My Roots, Beard Gang, Milongo Soaps, Crown. Where? Crown? Well, looking at if I did it. And of course, Kirby City Clothing. So come by and see your girl on Black Friday. We'll be open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I believe. Be on the lookout for flyers. 25% off online orders. My tongue apparently has went to sleep. 25% off on online orders and 15% off on in-store orders for Kirby Kids. Next week. Are we on next week? Do we have a show next week? I won't see y'all next week.
Nope. We off next week. It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We'll be here in spirit. Y'all can watch the replay.
We'll put up a replay and y'all can listen to that.
Enjoy.
You know, it's funny. Y'all know. Usually, I'm like, do we do a show? I'm like, no, we're not doing one this year.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, usually, I'm not sure, but
we're tired.
We need a break. This is so.
We need a break. You great content in the new year.
What's interesting though is I will and I didn't last week's show was the second most watch show that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
So that was dope.
What did it end at? We didn't even tell the people.
It was like 1.7 last time I saw it.
1.9.
I would say that wasn't even a couple days after. So.
Yeah, 1.9. So
thank y'all.
Yeah, so keep sharing.
Keep
sharing, keep commenting, keep watching. So yeah. So that was the interesting part. But it's also funny because, usually it's like, oh, we got momentum, keep going. I'm like, listen, we got momentum, y'all. We gonna take it weekly. Hope that. So yeah. But no, Q, you got anything coming up?
Oh yeah, there will be I'm doing the design duo sale. So I'm bringing that back for Black Friday. I will also have some 16-ounce sizes of the coiling custard I'm going to offer, and that is limited edition. We will do the 16-ounce twist and go cream. The cocoa mango twist and go cream will be 16 ounces for the normal $18, which is the normal price for the 8-ounce. So
wow.
Listen.
Wow.
Yeah. Like that is a Black Friday. That's a double for the same price. So that is going to be an exclusive Black Friday sale that you only gonna get for a little bit. So get on that. And we're gonna do the design duo for the 8-ounce products, and I might do a couple flash sales and things like that. So you want to be subscribed to the pages, you want to be on social media so that you can get in on that good stuff.
These coupons.
Yeah, right. These coupons. I'm also hoping to have another announcement for Black Friday. You might have a brand new hot spanking place to place your Black Friday orders come next weekend. So yeah, it's got a lot going on. Be sure and follow, like I said, like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, because some good things are coming in the next couple days.
Cool.
Yep.
That's what's up. All right, let's see. Again, Thanksgiving, be the family. Appreciate, definitely do that. Please. If you haven't shared, just still have a moment. You still have time to do that. Hit that share button. And then the only other thing I have is, today I launched 2 things. The December 14th, we are having our what he wants, what she needs relationship panel with 360 Ministries. So y'all get your tickets for that. Go to my public figure page or to the Scoop page and get your tickets for that. It's $10, which include light food and drink. So that's coming up December 14th. Myself, Daryl O'Neill is going to be on the panel. Daryl Halliman is going to be on the panel, and Marco Triplett is going to be on. We're going to be the men on the panel. So we've got a good man. I don't know who the ladies panel is going to be yet. I haven't been told. So it's going to be really good. And so we're going to get a chance to meet some new people. I'm working on getting plenty of single men there, ladies. So don't think it's going to be a room full of ladies. So show up. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. What'd you say?
I said, work on that for Oklahoma City the next time you went to town.
I'm working on Oklahoma City too. And then I put up today, I don't think Kellz, I put a flyer in there, but I launched today 2 new classes, 2 new Money Mentor classes. No, 1. The other one will be up tomorrow. But we did give your credit a boost. So where I'm going to teach you how to raise your credit score. And I'm going to give you any documentation that you might need. So that is, I want to say I charge $19 for that class. So it's a master class next Thursday. So if you go to the Eventbrite page, you'll see it. It's I'm going to show you how to raise your credit score. I'm going to show you all the tricks about credit. I'm going to show you how to dispute stuff. I'm going to show you how to do all of that in next week's master class. So register for that. And then tomorrow, I might as well tell you now, tomorrow I'm going to be launching January's boot camp. So we're doing a Money Mentor boot camp in January for 4 weeks. every Thursday, where you get time with the limited number of people who are in the class. Because I think I'm only taking 10 people, and then we're going to do a boot camp for the month of January. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about money, about credit, about budgeting, about all of that. And because it's only 10 of us, you get to ask questions, and it gets to be real intimate when it's just the 10 of us. So, yeah. So that'll be $99 for 4 weeks, which is super cheap, but okay. Yeah. Other than that, I think that's about all I have. Oh, Firestarter. Yes, it's her birthday month. So she is still extending her sale. Where I want to say it was like 2 or 3. I'm sorry if I said the wrong number, but I think 2 or 3 spots available. So contact her immediately. So if you're looking to get, as she said, get your life lit. So she offers some really good classes, and I will say again, really good at what she does. So if you're looking to help get a plan for yourself, if you're looking to find ways to get your confidence up, if you're looking for ways to really just get yourself on the path of purpose, then it is really, you really want to get with the Firestarter. So do that ASAPly. Other than that, any other questions, comments, concerns? We good?
Boy band out.
Boy band out. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good week. We are not going to be here next week, so don't you. But we'll be here, but not live. Is the music going? Nope.
Is this thing on? This thing on?
Where my mic at? Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all later.